What's up?
It just went live, buddy.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Alright, welcome back to another night of Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight it's RGR Racing in the Kylou Glass Gen 4 series here from Rockingham Speedway. I'm Dean Doucette, he's Jared Carr. Jared, the good old Rockingham track, this one sure to test you. I mean, I can always, whenever I come here, I think I need one of those bus driver seats.
Yeah, I mean, that is the best way to explain it. I mean, you are bouncing around this track, Dean. You are on top of the track the entire time. It's rough. It'll wear the tires out. It will be a challenge for these guys here tonight.
Well, it will, and that's going to be the interesting part, right? Who hangs on to these machines? I mean, these machines, the Gen 4 car, Jared, they're going to be a little different. And heck, they might be a little bit hard to handle out here.
Yeah, I expect that they are going to be hard to handle. I mean, you know, most cars that come here are very difficult no matter how much grip or no grip they have. And these cars don't have a lot of grip to start with, Dean. It's going to be a challenge for these guys. I can't wait to see what is in store here tonight at the Rock.
All right, let's check in on our championship standings. Of course, very early on. It's only race 2, but last week, T.J. Rogers, I'd say he stole one almost, Jared, but you know, he was in there just like everybody else. He took it, and he came away victorious.
Yeah, he did. What a race to start off the year. I mean, that was a green flag duel, a slugfest, and then we had a late caution, and it changed everything. And, you know, you feel bad for some of the guys that were involved up front. I mean, Greg Ratliff had a great run. A couple other drivers had great runs. Jason Ratliff had a great run. You know, I think that those guys, you know, showed that they still have a lot of talent, right? And I think that tonight's going to be really interesting to see how they rebounded. Others that had some troubles last week rebound.
Yeah, I mean, what a track to be looking to rebound at. I mean, this thing, I'm telling you, this thing will test you. Matter of fact, let's go on board with Fleming here right before the end, and you're going to have a look. Well, he's up in the wall. That's tough, and you're going to see that on the high line, but if hopefully he'll get down low here, and we'll get a look at these bumps, Jared. I mean, there are many, and they just keep coming at you.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a rough track. And the other thing too, Dean, you don't want to slide up into that wall of the back straightaway because it can launch you in the air too.
Well, there's that. There's Ross Weiss losing it a little bit. Go on board with Greg Ratliff to see how he looks. Hopefully he takes the bottom. Here we go. So you can just see here when you're on the bottom, it's just it's almost motion sickness is grabbing you there.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I mean, it is a track that can actually physically challenge you, you know, with the motion sickness and just being on top of the wheel the entire time.
Should be a good one though. 175 laps here tonight. And everybody, you know, fresh starts, fresh cars. There's a lot of hope in the air. And, you know, one of the term I've been hearing around the political circles, hopium. Jared, are these guys on the hopium a little bit?
Well, I think it's too early, right? I think, you know, there's, you know, even a bad race, you know, it can hurt you, but it's not the end all be all with one race just in the books.
All right. As practice winding down, and we're getting ready to fire this one up. There's Robert LaPrime in the old Looney Tunes machine. What was your favorite Looney Tunes back in the day, Jared?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm looking at my diecast wall right now, Dean. You know, I got to go with, even though it was going to be an Earnhardt one, but it ended up being a Kevin Harvick one, is the Tasmanian Devil.
Ooh, I like it. Tasmanian Devil. Crazy little bugger.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was going to be on the 3 car in 2001, ended up being on the 29 car. But, you know, you got to give a little bit out there for, you know, Pepe Le Pew. You know, always interesting character.
I like it. I like going with some of these characters who weren't, necessarily the main ones. You picked out some good ones there. Who's the guy? Two Gun Sam? Who? Toucan Sam?
Yeah, I mean, you got Yosemite Sam, dude.
Yosemite Sam. That's it. Thank you, Jared.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, to be certain.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm the very reason they don't allow guns in Canada, Jared. Just a little fact.
Makes a lot of sense.
It really does. A little unstable, they say. All right, everybody's getting ready and starting to grid up here. Let's get into tonight's starting grid. Going to be Michael Walker the second out front. How about that? A 24.216. Great job by the 22 machine. Jason Ratliff will start on the outside of row number 1. It's Chris Owens and George Dibble in row number 2. George Leal along with Greg Ratliff starting 5th and 6th. 7th will be TJ Rogers, last week's winner. Wes Pistol will start on the outside of row 4. Row 5, you got Ross Weiss, Tom Ashley, and Michael Fleming and Todd Gilly will round out a top 12.
Yeah, and you look further back there, Dean, we've got Paul Travis there in 13th with Adam Newton. Then we got Jason Brantley and Tracy Powers in row number 8. Tony Ratliff and Troy Torgerson, row 9. Herb Ashley and Jason Spear rounding out those that qualified. We have 4 drivers that didn't. That's Rachel Hunt, Rick Thompson, Ricky Williams, and Robert LaPrime not taking times here tonight.
Yeah, and Hunt and Thompson not gridding up, so a little concerned. I don't think they're able to make it. I did hear Rachel Hunt had some storms in the area, so that an issue for her. That's unfortunate. Another great night of racing here on Wind Tunnel TV. I hope you're tuned in and ready to enjoy this one. This one should be very, very entertaining. Pace car with that incredible handling takes off the track.
Green, green, green.
Green flag down and away. Michael Walker heads down into 1 with Jason Ratliff trying to wind it up on the high side. Owens down on the bottom.
A little bit of a check up there. The 5 machine not getting the car going. I think that might be Greg Ratliff. I'm not sure if he's the 5 or the 6, to be honest, but a little check up back there in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Greg in the 5 machine for sure. Right now, big battle out front. Jason Ratliff winding it up. He'll take the early lead on that high side.
Several drivers moving up that track, Dean, as you see him washing through the field here. And a lot of drivers trying to get down to the bottom, but Ratliff might have got the wall off turn 2, so not a start that Greg Ratliff was wanting there. As you see right in front of him, Chris Owen, I believe. No, that's George Leal heading to the high side. Getting used to some of these paints out here, Dean.
New paints out here. We'll get into some of these paints later on. Leal in that Budweiser machine. He's got TJ Rogers all over him there. Jason Ratliff just set the fastest lap of the race, and he takes the lead. Now I'm seeing, for instance, Jason Ratliff rocking that high side. I think this is a known commodity at this point. You can run that line, but is it too early to be up there, Jared?
Well, I think it depends, right? I think, I don't know the setup, at all at this track here with this car. So it is possible that the highs, Dibble and George Leal almost coming together there. Or TJ Rogers. I thought Dibble's in the wall, 3 wide. Everybody getting through there very easily, but Dibble got a little bit out of shape, and you're already starting to see the handling kind of come into play. But Dean, to kind of wrap up on that point, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to go to the top. You just have to manage your stuff no matter where you're running at this track. Yeah,
for sure. And I almost said Ricky Craven was down on the bottom for a minute there, Jared. There you go. I might actually know a paint for once.
Yeah, 32. I don't know who that is because I don't think that number corresponds to their iRacing number.
No, I'm going to guess that's Ross Weiss in the 41. So the 41 /32 here tonight.
Ooh, tight off the corner there. Jason Brantley, Tom Ashley in the 62. And then you got Adam Newton. I mean, he runs that AC Delco paint everywhere. That's a throwback to, Dale Jr., Ron Hornaday, like some good Busch Series paints there back in the day.
Good looking paint for sure.
And
The
then Todd
Man,
Gilly
Todd
right there.
Gilly, yeah, he's got the old Winston machine out there, the no bull car. So the Toad Man switching it up a bit. I love it.
You got the 40 machine running the Dodge paints. I mean, we don't have a Dodge in almost at 2K3 in iRacing. So you got to kind of have to make do with what you got to work with. But the 40 machine of Ford with Dodge paint, I don't know how that's going to go over. Oh, we got somebody in the wall. It's Dibble. Hard in the wall off the turn 2, Dean.
Oh,
Nobody
boy.
hit him.
Caution on the track. Dibble, we seen, was struggling a little bit there in the high side. Let's see what happened to him. So there, oh, we just caught the end of that. Hold on. That was a big bauble down in the corner. You see, everything's fine. Hitting those bumps. Lose it, overcorrection, tail slaps the wall, and it's a one-car wreck. Great job of everybody avoiding that.
Yeah, that's a death wobble if I've ever seen one, right? You just got a little loose, and this track will kind of, you anticipate it, and when you anticipate things happening like that at this track, it can often, you over-anticipate very easily. As I think everybody's going to come down pit road, Dean. They are.
Yeah, coming in early.
Oh, no.
Oh, Owens get dirts out,
Owens.
so Owens will take the front. Pistol stays out as well. Ross Weiss stays out. So does the Toad Man and Tracy Powers. Wow. Ricky Williams as well.
I kind of like this move. I was trying to look actually right before, we were talking about that wreck, Dean, but looking at the amount of tires that everybody has in this, it's unlimited. So I don't necessarily, I think you have to take tires every time, but, these guys, if you get a quick caution, 5-6 laps after the fact, I think this could pay off. But if we get a long green flag run, which this league is notorious for having, these guys are going to be in a world of problems.
Yeah, this is not the place you don't want tires. I mean, Rockingham, so difficult. I think it'll be noticeable. We'll wait and see, though. Heck, we were surprised when TJ Rogers did a 2-tire stop after a 50-lap run and made that work. So anything possible these days.
Yeah, about 3/10 fall off right now over the 5-6 laps that we've done, under green anyway. So it's not a big fall off yet. But the thing about Rockingham is, Dean, it is one of those tracks where it's gradual, and then it hits a cliff, and you start dropping time pretty quickly until it starts to level off at the back end of that tire's life, traditionally. So I do expect, that these guys could, if they get a good caution, 10, 15 laps, I think they're going to be okay. But if it goes longer than 15, maybe even longer than 10, I think they're going to be in a world of problems and probably be off the back pretty soon.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that sentiment. Jared, you were talking about that death rattle or whatever you called it from the accident. Just always reminds me of a bicycle, back in the day.
Yep. And
you let the hands off the wheel. Like guys love riding around with no hands on there. And if you get a little shake going, you can get that death rattle going, can't you? I'm going to take that as a yes, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I came through. Sorry.
Chris Owens, West Pistol up front, Weiss and the Toad Man in row 2. Good orderly start here by everybody this time. Owens jumping way out there.
I think that's what Owens needed to do, right? All 4 of the 5 drivers that stayed out, Dean, really did a good job of getting away, right? And that's key to being able to survive staying out on old tires, getting away and not getting overran by guys on fresh tires. And great job by those top 4. Tracy Powers is going to be under heat, though, as the second guy to stay out. Ricky Williams, the first guy that everybody's coming up with, and he's already getting under the gun pressure from Michael Walker and TJ Rogers.
Yeah, Michael Walker, our pole sitter, absolutely flying. Maybe almost too fast a pace here early on, but he's going to get out there and try and chase these guys down. Looks like these tires got a bit of an advantage.
There goes TJ Rogers. He's trying to stay with him. And you look at some of these other drivers like Jason Ratliff, who came so close and maybe kind of have one taken away from him in a way. He is trying to stay with these guys as well. He's going to get a good run down the back straightaway underneath Powers. So Powers and Williams doing a great job staying out of the way, but Williams kind of washing up in the middle. Dean Ratliff has to go to the high side. I don't know if Greg wanted to do that. He's going to try to cut back under the start-finish line.
And this, I guess, is the problem of pitting, right? Is he going to get through these cars in Rockingham? Not an easy place to pass, Jared. There goes to 51 at George Leal now. He'll take the fighting with Powers.
Oh, Ricky Williams is really loose on the outside of Herb Ashley. Everybody does a great job. And you're seeing up front, Dean, Chris Owen running the tie side, Dean, and really making that work. Lap time right there, 24.889. You look at Michael Walker, 24.833. So Owens is doing a good job currently.
Oh, he's absolutely flying out here, no doubt. Wes Pistol doing a nice job, Ross Weiss, so all three guys on old tires. The Toad Man as well, hanging right with them. Behind them, you got TJ Rogers trying to fend off Michael Walker right now.
Well, the other way around is TJ Rogers actually completed the pass on Michael Walker, so he'll be in the lead of the new fresh tires there, and Jason Ratliff right on the back bumper of them as they're coming up on the Toad Man.
So we were looking in on Jason Brantley there. Brantley down. He had lost control of that machine, but no caution. He'll have to come back into the circuit. I'm not sure if he lost a lap. I don't think he has yet.
Looking at the screen, he is not, but he is going to be very close to being lapped. That's for sure. Battle for the lead, though. Pistol will take it there at the start-finish line.
Yeah, West Pistol to the front out of Knoxville, Tennessee, rocking those Tennessee Volunteer colors.
Dean, you're a college football fan?
I am. I mean, moderate, I'd say. I'm a what do they call it, an enthusiast? I'm not a hardcore fan.
So, as we learned last year from covering the Xfinity Series, we had Eric Beller in the UK car. I, went to UK. UK's biggest rival outside of Louisville is Tennessee. So, just putting that out there.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure this will lead to some tidbits later on. Right now, Pistol, Owens, Weiss, your top three, Rogers, Walker. Walker, the first guy, or maybe Rogers, the first guy with fresh rubber. So TJ Rogers won week one, looking good here in week two.
Yeah, I like TJ. He's being really patient behind Ross Weiss. He doesn't have a lot of pressure behind. He'd already cleared Michael Walker, so he's able to dictate the pace on the new tires. He's dictating the pace that he wants to run. And what the new guy, the guys on new tires should, he's kind of dictating what they are running as well. So really doing a good job. But the problem is, at some point these tires are all going to kind of level off around the same point. You might have a few laps here and there difference, right? But I mean, I kind of have some concerns that if he kind of sits back here and stacks up for a while, has he already used up the life of the tire, or is he going to find himself in problems later on by not being able to pass these guys early?
Well, I mean, we got to reconsider this. It was a mistake to pit because Pistol and Owens and Weiss, they're doing a great job holding the top three still, and we're well into this run, Jared.
Absolutely, 3 wide back in turn 3 as George Leal gets underneath Todd Gilly. Gilly loose off turn 4 with Adam Newton going by. Paul Travis trying to go by now into turn 1, but that got precarious for a second. Almost 3 wide. Greg Ratliff, I thought, was going to slide up in there. Thinks better of it.
Travis a little loose. They're thinking 3 wide again. So Ratliff kind of trapped, and that'll happen here. Guys get side by side, Jared. What do?
We gotta wait, right? I mean, it's not a fun thing to do, but you don't have a choice in the matter, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can think is maybe save a little tire, right, and try and back her down a little bit. Tom Ashley and Ricky Williams
Oh, right.
back here.
Wreck, it's TJ Rogers in the wall, Dean. TJ Rogers hard in the wall. We were staying green, though.
Yeah, still green. Not sure why, but that bumper front end bouncing all over pit road. He's gone to the pits. We remain under green. So last week's winner, first one in the garage tonight. Not great for TJ Rogers.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, I mean, you know, he's trying to pass the 41, and it just kind of squeezed up. I mean, the track narrows out so much there, and if you just bobble up just a little bit, I couldn't tell if he thought he was clear, or if, you know, the 32-40 came down.
Well,
But,
I think the best way to describe it, Jared, after looking at it, is that what you said initially, the track narrows out there, and that's just, I mean, it looked like he was well low enough, but then as that track narrows up, they just come together. It's incredibly difficult there.
Yeah, and it is, you know, side note, known issue with this track to not have cautions at this track when you slide down to the bottom like that.
All right, so known issue there. Weiss all of a sudden starting to flounder here, so his tires are giving out. He's fallen back to 10th now, continuing to hemorrhage.
And he's battling Todd Gilly. We did have some guys out in the chat. Lance Ripka last week had a great run going. He's out in the chat along with Papa G, and they're both, Dean, picking Michael Walker II as their winner here tonight, Dean. I mean, that's a strong pick as you see him in third place trying to chase down these two guys on old tires.
He's got the Atlanta Braves machine out there, Jared. What are your thoughts on that ball team?
Well, they're kind of a rebuild, right? You know, funnily enough, here, not this weekend, but next weekend, I'm actually going to go see them, the Reds, play the Braves, Dean, out at Bristol Motor Speedway.
All right. Well, we see TBS on there. Maybe it'll be on TBS. We'll look out for Jared Carr out in the crowd.
Yeah, if you can see me. If I can see the field, we'll see. Field's starting to get spread out now, Dean, which is kind of what we expected Rockingham. Now it's logging laps and surviving turn number 2, which is always the critical spot because the car really wants to offload off that right rear so much as you kind of come up. It's kind of, you're kind of driving uphill to a flat, right? And the car just unloads so heavy there, and guys you'll see, get loose or get really tight and hit that wall. And that's going to be the trouble spot all night long, and we've already seen it once so far.
So we're looking at a tough group right here. Jason Ratliff, Adam Newton, George Leal, these three drivers, and others, of course, but, you know, I got a feeling these three are going to be working their way towards the front sooner than later, Jared.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, it's, you know, it's going to come down to, you know, I think Michael Walker has that tire advantage, but, you know, if you look back here, you know, Jason Ratliff, Adam Newton, they're all coming forward too. So you're starting to see the guys that took those new tires, Dean, start to make some progress.
You are, and we're starting to see George Leal run downhill off the corner, Jared. That is a way to get some serious speed here at Rockingham. You see him there, Leal up high, and watch him. He'll turn down the track. That's downhill. He'll get a big run out of that corner.
Now you're starting to see, Dean, everybody's starting to stack up here. We got about, 10 cars in this group with Pistol leading the way. Greg Ratliff at the very end. So we've got 8 cars at this group right here, Dean. And, a little almost contact there. Adam Newton trying to get underneath, or almost got in the back of the 55 as they're trying to get around the 26 machine.
Yeah, it looks like he's just getting in a little better than Ratliff, or a little harder. Almost contact behind him. Leal trying to come through, so everybody working on Owens here. Owens has fallen to 4th now. Make it 5th. Leal will make it 6th. Travis right there. Greg Ratliff right there. So serious heat coming up front. Michael Walker, the crowd favorite, taken to the front underneath the West Pistol. And
he's going to take it over. Right when that happened, Eric Whiting throws his hat in the ring, says he agrees. The 22 car is strong every time we go to Rockingham, no matter the car, as Owen might have gotten up into the wall there in the 26 machine. Shout out Joe Nemechek. That's a Joe Nemechek paint there.
I was going to ask you about that one. I mean, I'm familiar with the paint a little bit. Did not remember who drove it. Good looking paint though.
Yeah, blue on blue was front row Joe, and also white on blue was front row Joe. There's also a neon green on blue that was driven by Kenny Irwin.
Yeah, there you go, folks. A wealth of information, Mr. Jared Carr.
A lot of useless stuff, I'm sure.
Well, I wouldn't say useless. Perhaps wasted childhood. I don't know.
Yeah, probably
I mean,
that. That's probably
I could
more,
probably
yeah.
tell you Tony Gwynn's batting average against a single team, so I understand the carrying these stats and paints and all that.
Right now, Walker has opened up to about a little over a half a second lead over West Pistol there, and now everybody's starting to kind of cycle through again. Dean, we saw, some of these drivers. I don't know what happened to Paul K, but he was up in the thick of things, and he's dropped off the back here a little bit. But it is a treacherous track, Dean.
It really is. We're looking at a couple of movers. We've seen Tony Ratliff up 6, Jason Spear up 7 now. Then you got a little group here: Torgerson, Ashley, Williams, and LaPrime all picking up several spots. So, and there is Rick Thompson. Now, Rick, several laps down. Unfortunate, did not make the start of the race, so he had non-factor here this evening. Out front, Michael Walker opening up now, 1 second lead over Pistol. Pistol in a log jam here.
Yeah, this is tough. When you have old tires, you're just trying to salvage, what you can at this point, right? I mean, you're looking at, I would think, Dean, 80 laps on fuel, maybe 90. I'm not really sure with this car, but that would be my hypothesis. So, I mean, you're halfway through a fuel run maybe right now. 175 laps. You've got to make, 78 laps? Is that right? Yeah, that is right. No, it is not right. You got to make
87, 88.
87, yeah, 87. Have my dyslexia going on there.
Walker doing a nice job. Now, these do have a larger tank, if that's correct, right?
That is correct. They do run a 20-gallon, 20.9 gallon tank, I believe it is, at speedways, and then super speedways only 13.9 gallon tanks.
Now, Jared, this is where it gets tough. You look in on Jason Ratliff, Newton, Leal, right here, very evenly matched cars. One might be faster than the other, but when you're this close, it is impossible to pass as Newton takes to the bottom, looking to do just that.
And you're seeing right there, Newton has to wash up in the middle. I mean, good thing Ratliff kind of, allowed that to happen, because that could have been bad. But that is going to allow Newton to kind of stay with Ratliff a little bit. But you're seeing the groove. It's hard to paint the line, and you're seeing Newton just got right on the bump there, Dean. He couldn't get the momentum through 1 and 2, and he's trying again. But Ratliff just a little bit better that time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the only way is, and that's what Newton's doing now, he's going to wind it up, try to come downhill off this exit. I think he kind of missed it there. He'll still have a run, but not quite the run he was looking for.
Yeah, now he's got pressure from George Leal behind him, too, so that is going to add to it. But here he goes, up to the wall. This is going to be a good play here, pull down. But Ratliff actually did a really good job coming off turn 2. He grabbed the paint, and Newton's either going to have to dive, which he does do, but Ratliff left the door open for it to happen.
Tough, hard racing here for second place. Ratliff going to hold him off. I'm waiting for the good old shocker here, Jared. You got to get on the high side of someone. That's no easy task either.
No, it's not. And I think the problem is that Newton is trying to pull the car down underneath Ratliff in 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 is much more high line dependent, right? It's the number 1, it's significantly smoother up there than the bottom of 3 and 4. And number 2, it's a more open corner radius, right? So you're not opening the wheel up as much on the bottom, or you're not closing the wheel off at the bottom as much. So there's a little bit more momentum on the high side. So I think Newton, what he's doing, he's doing great in 1 and 2. He just needs to wind that car up in 3 and 4, and he needs to stick to 3 and 4 and try to get on the outside of Ratliff because there is opportunity there. There is space to get there.
How about Weiss fighting with Owens here? So Weiss dropped early with those old tires, now getting by Owens, who was the leader. So put Weiss into 7th. Weiss looking to be getting stronger as he gets into the wall a little bit, but that's kind of the line he's picking up the speed with. Tony Ratliff back in 9th makes a move underneath Owens. So Owens is hemorrhaging here. Some of these other guys starting to come forward.
Yeah, and I think Owens, we looked at his lap times, and they were very good at the beginning of the run. And I had to wonder, was he pushing a little bit too hard? And I think we got our answer, right? It's clear that Michael Walker's kind of got that car, right where he wants it, but he was running the same lap times, Dean, as Chris Owens was at the beginning of that run, but he had 10 lap fresher tires. So there's your difference right now. But right now, if you're Chris Owens, you just got to hold on to this thing until you pit.
So Jason Ratliff continues to hold off Newton for 2nd. Newton up 11 spots here. Lap 51 at 175 at Rockingham as they're clicking by in a hurry. Leal has been lingering here in 3rd, and I got a feeling, Jared, he kind of gave up on making moves. He's seen how even they were. It wasn't one car, but 2. He thought, let me just get back here and manage my stuff for 10 or 20 laps. He might be ready to make another run here.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea because I think if he can back it down and save a little bit and let these guys kind of battle with each other, and that might play into it. But what he doesn't want, and what these 3 guys don't want, is A, to lose time to Michael Walker, and B, to have Greg Ratliff, who is bound with West Pistol, start to catch up to the back of you, right? He's got fresh tires as well, fresher tires as well. So you don't want more people to get involved in your battle than what you already have.
Yeah, Pistol just let Greg go by, or Greg got by. Either way, Greg up to 5th. Newton trying a different line. That doesn't work. Jason Ratliff gets away a little bit. Out front, Michael Walker. The lead now 1.1 seconds over Jason Ratliff. Newton 3rd, Leo 4th, Ratliff in 5th. Pistol, Weiss, Tony Ratliff, Travis, and Ashley, your top 10 right now. Brantley, who had his problem early, Jared, he's hung on here. He's been running pretty good times and holding off Michael Walker from lapping him.
Yeah, doing a great job. I mean, Brantley, 19 seconds ahead of, or 19 seconds behind our race leader, which is about, 7-8 seconds ahead, basically. So he's stayed in that realm, right? I mean, that's basically been where he has been since he slid off the track. He's actually making some progress, catching up to 19th, 18th, and 17th. So I expect Jason Brantley to kind of find himself in a battle here shortly. But Dean, last couple laps, Jason Ratliff, Adam Newton, and George Leal have been faster than Michael Walker. And I think Adam Newton and Leo have backed off a little bit off Ratliff because I think they realize they're catching the 22 car. If we battle, we're not going to catch the 22 car as quickly. Let's just kind of fight here, ride here, I should say, and catch up to the leader, then battle it out.
Well, and the other thing is pit road, Jared, and this another difficult track. You got a bumpy track here, then you got to transition down to that pit lane. How difficult is it here to get on pit road?
It's pretty difficult. I mean, Dover is the hardest. It's not even a question, right? But after that, I would say Darlington's pretty hard, and then Rockingham is right in that same, area code.
Good old Darlington. And you just gave me nightmares, Jared. Why'd you have to do that?
I don't know. I love giving you nightmares, I guess.
I love the track, and that pit road, I've decided I no longer try to stay on the track, Jared. Get to that inside wall, play it safe. Ross Weiss coming in. So the 32 machine, early pit stop here, lap 59. I'm not sure about this call for Weiss, but you got to do what you got to do.
Well, Dean, back in the old days, Rockingham was never a fuel mileage, or sorry, it often came down to fuel mileage, but You never ever in real life or on NR2K3, you never ran the tank dry. You just couldn't do it. You would burn out your right front tire, you burn out your right rear tire, and you know, and the tire, it didn't blow, but you would basically have the sensation of the car blowing the tire, and you'd had to pit, which we kind of have in iRacing too, right? So I'm not surprised by that. And what I am surprised is his lap times look good, so it didn't really indicate to me that he was having that problem. But Chris Owen on pit road as well now.
And a little battle back further. We got Paul Travis comes in as well. Toadman was in. Fleming touches the wall behind him. Torgerson and Herb Ashley right there. So these guys were battling with Spear, but Spear came in and pitted along with Ricky Williams and Jason Brantley. So pit stops are in full swing. These guys calling it a two-stopper, Jared. Can our leaders turn it into a one-stopper?
Yeah, and you know, all these guys, for the most part, not all of them, I shouldn't say that, but most of them haven't pitted yet, right? Owens hasn't pitted until now. You know, Paul K. Travis hadn't pitted, I don't believe. You know, Ricky Williams hadn't pitted. So this is a good strategy call, in my opinion, for these guys, because they can kind of, you know, turn this race upside down, because there is a lot of fall off. I mean, we're running 26-second lap times right now, Dean. We started this race off running 24.8s. So we're already, you know, getting into 1.2 second fall off in this race.
Yeah, I mean, 1.2, maybe not good enough for a two-stopper to be the one-stopper, something I'm always harping on. But, you know, handling-wise and fun-wise, if you were looking for a top 10, maybe a two-stopper, the way to go. We look in on Ratliff, Jason that is, and Newton and Leal again. Nothing changed here, Jared. This is follow the leader here.
Yeah, they haven't made a lot of inroads. They were faster for a little bit, but they haven't made inroads in probably 5 to 6 laps on Michael Walker right now. And you look at there, I mean, right there, Walker was an 8.65, Ratliff a 9.12, Newton 8.40, and Leal an 800. So really, at the end of the day, Jason Ratliff a little bit slower than the 2 cars behind him and our race leader.
All right, so pretty much status quo up front. Greg Ratliff in 5th, faster than all of them. Tony Ratliff, significantly faster. He ran a 26.1, absolutely flying. I don't know what got into Tony Ratliff, but he's the fastest guy on old tires on the track.
Well, I think you might have misread that, Dean. The leaders are doing 25.9s. Tony and Greg are doing 26.5s and 26.1s.
I was wondering. I got a little excited there, Jared. My bad. Meanwhile, Chris Owens has set a couple of track bests here in his last couple of laps. He's absolutely flying. I guess, you know, yeah, you're just going to put the pedal down and hope for the best, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, there's no tire saving if you're doing a two-stopper, right? You use them up, and you're kind of looking at like lap 120, 130 when you need to come in again, right? So you might as well get as much speed out as you can. As the lead, some lap cars trying to come through the field, Newton goes high, and Jason Spears stuck in there with Jason Ratliff. And we also have the 90 machine of Michael Fleming. We haven't talked a lot about him tonight, but he's now trying to get in here, Dean.
Yeah, Fleming and Spear driving through these guys. Now they'll go up and they'll take on Michael Walker. They probably slowed those guys down a little bit, allowed Walker to get out to about back to 1.1 or 1 second lead. So Walker getting help there, but now he's about to get hurt. We'll see how Spear and Fleming get by our leader.
Well, I think it's actually helping him because he got caught in 3 and 4. And that's a lot easier to make move on the bottom and get away. Whereas 1 and 2, you kind of the track is the corner radius is a lot tighter, so it can really stack up there. But you know, Dean, if you're pitting, you know, these leaders, you've already lost. You know, Jason Spear just now getting back to 1 lap down. All right, so he lost 2 laps by pitting under green to our race leaders. So that's the other disadvantage of the two-stopper. You have to make up that time in this race. At some point in time, you have to make up almost either a lap and a half to 2 laps on our race leader.
Yeah, and at a second and a half faster now. That'll change here when our leaders come into pit. So we'll see how it all plays out. Right now, oh, and we got Tom Ashley coming into pit road. He vacates 8th position. Out front, Michael Walker, Jason Ratliff, still seeing guys come through with fresh tires. So, but he is making progress. Jason Ratliff now cut it down to 7/10 here.
Yeah, the lap traffic kind of had, and no fault for the lap traffic at all, but they have definitely split the field up just a little bit and really made it the leaders kind of have to change what they're doing here. Is Jason Ratliff now right there with Michael Walker.
Now, Jared, when we talk about pit stops, is there anything you can do here? Maybe, I mean, it's fixed setup, but you can take less fuel, maybe change brake bias, maybe, or what are these guys looking at?
Yeah, I mean, you take less fuel, you're obviously going to have less weight in the rear, so that can change the handling in a lot of different ways. So this car, just like any NASCAR stock car that isn't the next gen car, weight forward, will shift the balance, the mechanical balance forward, right? So as you take weight out of the rear, the car can tend to get a little bit tighter. But you do have a little bit more speed. So if the setup is a little looser, you take a little less fuel. It can kind of balance out like that.
Yeah, I mean, these are things I count on, and then it does the exact opposite every once in a while,
and it
too.
It can, and that's the thing too. Is it's not like I shouldn't say you're shifting weight. We're not moving ballast, right? If you take less fuel, you have less weight. Period. In the car, and that can obviously make a big change. There is a gaggle of cars around Jason Ratcliffe and Adam Newton, and it got tight there, and Michael Walker able to re-increase his lead because of it.
Yeah, and these are the ebbs and flows of what's going on. So these three under enormous pressure. Again, Walker will have to deal with it now as he has Ashley coming up on him. So wow, and Ashley just flying through the middle of the corner. My goodness. I mean, the noticeable difference here, Jared.
Absolutely. What I'm keying in on is 9th place Ross Weiss, right? He is the first car one lap down, and the second car, now Paul Travis just passed him. So Paul Travis is the first car with new tires. He's the first car one lap down. So he is coming into turn 1 right now. So that kind of gives you the idea. So he has to get around Michael Walker to get back on the lead lap, and then he has to pass him again. So I think that this is going to be a tough row. I think that these guys were hoping for more fall-off, Dean.
Well, they may be, but I mean, maybe you're not thinking about a win, but you're thinking about a top 10 or a top 5. Right now, Travis in 8th position. Pistol coming in, so the Pistol comes into pit road here, and he vacates 7th position.
And he hadn't pitted yet, Dean. That was so. I'm sure he stretched the field as far as he could go, because he did not pit on lap 9 like everybody else that was still on the racetrack. So the top 6, all those drivers pitted on lap 9. Pistol hadn't pitted until just now, and then everybody after Pistol pitted around lap 50 to lap 70, or lap 60 to lap 70.
Well, that's the thing. That pit on lap 9 could be key. And when you say halfway, 87, 88 laps, well, they're going to have to go a little bit more than that, Jared, because that pit stop at 9 laps helped them quite a bit.
We had Robert LaPrime on pit road for 7 minutes, so some issues or damage for the number 50 machine. He is just now leaving pit road with with West Pistol. So Pistol's going to come out 1 lap down. We just saw him on the screen there, Dean, and he's going to come out right in front of Jason Ratliff. So this is actually I think this is going to work out for him. Let's see where he cycles in on our scoring monitor. So he's 2 laps down in 19th. So you lose, basically you're looking at losing a lap and a half to 2 laps anytime you pit.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get that lap back right here in a couple more laps as he rolls up to Michael Walker here momentarily.
But I'll tell you what, Dean, we always talk about it. When you have green flag pit stops, what you don't want is a caution to come out, right? If you're a guy that pits early. And when you have such a speed difference, cautions can easily come in a race like this. So if you're Michael Walker, Jason Ratliff, these guys, they have to kind of make their bed and try to make this to lap 88 or lap 89. But if they get a caution, I mean, it is really going to play in their favor because they have only 6 cars on the lead lap with Paul Travis chasing them down. Right now, he's about 4 seconds behind our race leader right now.
So a little shake-up, Jared, a little further back, Newton with perhaps some kind of issue. He has gotten passed by George Leal and fallen off the back a little bit.
Yeah, that has been a gaggle all night long back there with those drivers. I'll try to get a look in and see if anything happened.
Yeah, it's been tough for these guys, and this is the thing about different pit strategies. It's almost impossible to figure out where everybody's going to appear on the track, but it seems like this group in particular has been just hounded by these guys on fresh tires, so they've been unable to run consistent laps. Leal and Jason Ratliff trying to hunt down Michael Walker. Michael Walker with a 2.3 second lead right now. Leal making his move. He's going to pass Jason Ratliff. So George Leal up to second now.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is, you know, there's 3 of them battling, right, for second place, or there was. I looked at Adam Newton. Nothing really stuck out to me. It looked like he got a little high, maybe got the wall a little bit, but I couldn't tell. There was no smoke, but it just looked like he may have just used up the life of the tire. Or maybe he's short on fuel and he's having to kind of roll it out a little bit. But the flip side is, you know, when you're trying to pass one guy, Michael Walker's kind of standing alone, right? And it's a lot easier for, you know, him to kind of maneuver without having to battle, right? Look in the rear view mirror as you see the last of the lap traffic kind of getting around him. But Leal has mowed down that gap quite a bit here. So we got 26.7, Dean, to a 26.1. So yeah, Michael Walker did lose a half a second there.
I mean, he just closed in over a second in a couple of laps, Jared. Holy cow. George Leal on the move, or lap traffic hurting Michael Walker. So it's a trade-off. It hurts you, then it hurts him. Now we're back to 1.4 seconds. Jason Ratliff, another second back. Tony Ratliff now has moved up to 4th. How about Tony tonight?
Yeah, great run for Tony Ratliff, as it looks like Adam Newton, something had to have happened to Adam Newton there.
Yeah, I think you might be right. He might be saving fuel. We're on lap 88, expecting our leaders to come in. Let's go ahead and hop on board with our leader, Michael Walker II.
Oh yeah, Adam Newton is shutting the car off. Sorry, Dean. So he's trying to save some fuel and get a little bit in the tank.
Yeah, and like I said, they pit on lap 9, so these guys looking to do at least 5 extra laps. So, you know, let's wait a couple more laps before we expect them in. Ricky Williams coming on in.
He pitted on lap, he's already been in, Dean, so he's back in again. So that's got to be an unscheduled stop for Ricky Williams.
You see Greg Ratliff, we missed his stop. He had come in a little bit early himself. I don't think he can make it either, so he's flying around the track. Cars everywhere, hard to tell exactly what's going on.
Yeah, Ratliff, Greg Ratliff, I should say, was up in 5th position, so he hadn't pitted yet on this cycle, so he is now pitted, and he is off of pit road heading out now. But he is 2 laps down, and Dean, he got to figure out how to make up that time. But Paul Travis and Weiss and Owens have got back on the lead lap, so that is also something playing in. Here comes Greg Ratliff trying to get on the lead lap, back on the lead lap, or back to 1 lap. Sorry.
Yeah, back to 1 lap. So Jason Ratliff coming in. Jason Ratliff to pit road on lap 92. That should be like right on the edge of what's available to him. Walker, Leal, Tony Ratliff, and Newton still on the track.
Yeah, Newton was rolling hard. I mean, he was going down to 110 miles an hour. And I think Michael Walker, looking at his speed, Dean, while we were on board with him, he's also, I don't know if he's exactly clutching, but he might be just turning the ignition off a little bit. But he's rolling down to 110, 109. George Leal not. Much quicker right now. And it just feels like I can't tell, but I think he is using the clutch a little bit, Michael Walker.
Well, we look at his RPM gauge. Hard
Yeah.
to tell for certain, but it's quite a drop-off there.
He's in.
Here he comes, on board with him. Good straight entry here. A little pedestrian, but good entrance for Rockingham. Newton also on pit road right now. George Leal takes over the lead. Tony Ratliff moves up to second here.
So if George has been able to save fuel and carry that speed, I have to wonder, you know, he's coming in now, so he's not going to put any more time on it. So now everything's going to get shooken up with our standings, because these guys are going to drop toward the bottom of our standings, and we're going to see who's going to flip around to the lead.
Right now, Tony Ratliff out front. Paul Travis will be in second position, so we check our pit board. Travis pitted on lap 60, Jared.
Yeah, so he's on the two-stop strategy for sure. No way you're doing 120-something laps, almost 120 laps on fuel. So that's a no-brainer, right? And then we have Tony Ratliff, who has not pitted. Must be really saving the fuel, as you see right now, battling with Todd Gilly there. Gilly trying to get
and
back.
Leal a 16.6 on pit road, Jared.
Yeah, not a great stop at all for George Leal. We'll see where that cycles him out.
That was a long stop. I was getting worried that something else was going on there. Looked like he sat there for at least a couple extra seconds. Tony Ratliff out front, Paul Travis, Chris Owens, remember he pitted early as well, Weiss, Tom Ashley, that's your top five. Then you got Fleming, Torgerson, Pistol, Spear, and the Toadman. All these guys on a two-stopper. Maybe a three-stopper for some of them.
Tony Ratliff is in, Dean, so the last of our long stayers. So that will turn the lead over to Paul Travis. Probably not at the line, but yeah, he will not lead this lap. But the 88 machine.
How about that? Paul Travis out here rocking that Alive Church machine. Live fully alive.
He hits the wall. He hits the wall. Him and Greg Ratliff went underneath of him, and the car just bound up on him. He got really tight, and he smacks the wall, and that's going to put Chris Owens in the lead.
So Chris Owens takes over here. He was up front early on tonight, and we were watching there. We were zoomed in on Travis. That machine does not look well right now. It's acting a little funny as he tries to get it under control.
Yeah, now Adam Newton, who is one lap down, the only car one lap down right now, had a very poor pit stop, the slowest pit lane time besides Greg Ratliff. Both of them not penalties, but definitely slow pit times for both Greg Ratliff and Adam Newton.
What I'm starting to wonder is, were they? I mean, with that big fuel tank, are we talking about guys getting the full fuel in, and maybe we're going to witness a lot of guys who didn't take enough fuel, or because they're on a two-stopper, they didn't need to take that much fuel, Jared?
Yeah, I think the two-stopper guys, for sure, I think that you could definitely say that 100%. But, you know, you look at Tony Ratliff, he did his pit lane time was 43.7. Greg Ratliff of 46.3. So and that's quite a bit of difference between those two drivers.
Absolutely is. Paul Travis second to Owens, Weiss, Ashley, and Pistol. So until they pit, this is the way it's going to be. These guys were on lap 101 of 175. Now, Jared, like, what's a good time to come in? You just do the math and break it up, or you get to come in just a hair early here and try and run these guys down?
Well, I think you have to stick to your plan, right? I think, you know, if you're on a two-stopper, like, you don't want to try to go to a three-stopper. I think that would be suicide, right? You know, as far as your race chances. And if you're on a one-stopper, I don't think you want to try to split the second part of this race, right? I think that's also a bad decision. So I think you got to stick with what you have.
Gilly hard into the wall that time with Fleming underneath him. He controls it, though, but that was a hard lick. You see Jason Ratliff coming on through. Ratliff back, and that's Walker right in front of him. So these are our two guys on the one-stopper that come out, and they are nose to tail here, Walker and Jason Ratliff.
Fleming very loose off turn 2 in front of Gilly. Thought there was going to be a wreck there. And Fleming's still not quite together right now as Leo's trying to come through this group of cars right now.
So as a bunch of people beginning to struggle out there, Leo going by the Toad Man right now. So George Leal out here doing a nice job, but he's got work to do. He's about a second and a half behind Walker and Jason Ratliff. Walker, the early crowd favorite, they picked. They say he loves this place. He's great here. I've seen nothing but that out here tonight, Jared.
Absolutely. I mean, Dean, it's been a great race overall, in my opinion.
Absolutely has. I mean, you see our leader going by Spears, so that's going to put Spear a lap down again. Or I'm sorry, that's once pit stops come in. Owen's still out front, so Owens is your leader. As I was focused in on Michael Walker. He's currently in 7th, Jared.
Yeah, that's kind of, well, if I could talk, wow. Trying to figure out kind of where things are going to stack up here because, you know, my hypothesis, right, would be that these guys like Owens and Travis Weiss, you know, they are going to probably pit here in the next 10 to 15 laps, I would assume, right? Maybe 20?
Yeah, somewhere around 120-ish.
And then you have Wes Pistol and Tom Ashley. Neither of those guys stretched it far enough, in my opinion, to make this race on a one-stopper. They're kind of the wild cards. They have fresher tires than the 3 cars in front of them, but they also have, they're kind of at a fuel disadvantage. I don't know where these guys are going to fit in exactly in the puzzle because there's no way they're making 105 laps on fuel if you're Tom Ashley or 100 laps on fuel for Wes Pistol. So I'll be interested to see where they kind of fall in, where their pit strategy is. But if you're Michael Walker and Ratliff and Leal, like, you're committed to that one stopper. And I just, you know, they were really slow at the end of that run. You're seeing how far back they've lost time to the 2 stopper. So it's going to be really interesting in the next 20 to 30 laps to see where this all shakes out, Dean.
It is. It's very interesting. Michael Walker currently 11 seconds back of Owens. I think Owens should pit sooner than later and see if he can run these last 60 laps or so, you know, and get back up there. I mean, it'd be hard-pressed to do it, but maybe he could. You see the 32, that's the 41, actually, of Ross Weiss going underneath of Travis, so Weiss up to 2nd right now. Pistol hanging around. They're in 4th. Tom Ashley in 5th. All these guys doing an excellent job. Michael Walker, 2 seconds back. And the time difference between him and Ashley, about 0.8 a lap as Jason Spear comes in. I like this call by Jason Spear.
Yeah, go ahead and get in. I mean, you know you can do, I think you could probably do easily, you know, at this point, finish the race off on fuel. So not a bad call.
All right, here comes Jason Ratliff to Michael Walker. So these two still running nose to tail. And this is very interesting. I mean, what did they learn from the first run? They seem pretty evenly matched, Jared.
They do, but what I'm more interested in is George Leal caught and passed Michael Walker at the end. Stayed out 1 lap longer, but lost 3 seconds in the process. Pit lane times look identical, but that 1 extra lap really cost him time on the track as he does get around Troy Torgerson. But that gap is not really coming down between these two, and the gap between Walker and Ratliff to Leal. So I do have some concerns if Leal, you know, maybe stayed out too long, Dean.
Maybe.
Paul Travis heads in.
Or maybe he's milking those tires. Paul Travis on pit road. Here comes Torgerson as well. So those two head to pit road. And again, I like this. That's to get in there a little bit earlier than maybe they could go. And I like that. I think Owen should do the same. They're hemorrhaging time. Michael Walker's closed in about 4 seconds since the last time we looked. So not that long ago.
Yeah, lap time for Owens, let's say at 26 flat, Weiss at 26 flat, Pistol with 20 lap newer tires at 25.6, Walker at 25.2. So my thought, Dean, is when once you start hitting the 26-second bracket, it's probably time to hit pit road based on the lap times Walker is running. So if I'm Owens or Weiss, I would probably hit pit road within the next couple laps.
Yeah, and I think they're there. I think that's what they're thinking. You never know. They could also be waiting for a caution, but as you said, cautions are rare here. There is a bit of a glitch, and to cause one, you're going to have a pretty significant wreck, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to stay on the track, right? If you go below that apron, it is absolutely not going to bring out caution, which is a shame. But I don't know. It's been a bug since the track came out, so.
All right, a little bit in your craw as well.
Yeah, I don't know what to say there.
Chris Owens, Pistol, and Weiss, your top three. Michael Walker right there now in fourth. Jason Ratliff fifth. He's fallen off just a hair off of Michael Walker. Walker down underneath the Weiss here. Will this slow him down? It will. So right closing in is Jason Ratliff. He gets a big run and makes an easy pass instead of a hard pass. That brought him up probably 2 or 3 tenths there, Jared.
Yeah, let's take a look at our times here. So Owens just did a flat at the line. Pistol 7. Walker, a very slow lap, 25.9.
Yeah, that's because of passing the 41 there, or passing a car there.
Yeah, you're right. I missed him passing Weiss there. So, and then you got Ratliff with the 7. Yeah, so I think right now, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Owens is kind of running the lap times he is right now. But there we go. I mean, Walker to a 25.3. So, and Weiss is on pit road. I think he waited a little bit too long personally, but we'll see how it plays out, Dean.
Yeah, and I think that's where Owens is at, right? And Pistol. I think both of them need to come in sooner than later. We look at Owens here. He's trying, Jared, and that's an aggressive stop. Great job by him. A little more solid out of Pistol. I don't know whose was quicker, but a couple of good entrances there from Owens and Pistol.
Okay, we'll check the pit lane times when they're done. So that's going to turn the lead back over to Michael Walker. But look at the gap, Dean. So you have Walker and Ratliff half a second. George Leal, 4.1 seconds, Dean. He was leading the race when he came in pit road. So I just don't see anything that indicated, unless he had a bad exit, right? I mean, that's, I don't have data for bad exit unless I look at the lap time, right? So it's possibly a bad exit, but man, that's a lot of time to lose on exit.
Jared, I've learned not to doubt him. I think he's saving here, and I don't mean fuel, I mean tire. I think he's managing that machine. He's got a lap time in mind. He's currently running 25.6, probably thinking 25.5s in that area is his lap time, and he's just going to keep running them. But that tide's got to turn now, Jared.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the lap times. I don't have the graph program that we have on the broadcast side, but I'm just not seeing the lap times really looking great, Dean. I don't know. You're probably right. I think he's saving. He's got to be. I mean, we've watched this so many times do things like this, but 4.5 seconds is a lot to make up when you're not pitting again.
Yeah, I mean, Ratliff to Leal, 5 laps, Jared. It went from a 3.5 to a 4-second gap. So, he's losing in the neighborhood of a tenth a lap. That's a lot here, or more than that, 2/10 a lap. So he's got to pick it up, and all of a sudden he has a 25.30 last time by. So Leal recognizes what's happening. He's ready to go. Here he comes, Jared.
Let's take a look. So at the line, we had Michael Walker at 25.5, Ratliff at 25.56, George Leal 25.4, Dean. So he did pick up the pace just a little bit, but I mean, in my opinion, you can't pick up, hundreds, right? You're going to have to find tenths in there.
Well, I mean, like I said, I've learned not to doubt him. I think, I think you're right that it's going to be extremely tough, but he's planning his pass for 10 to go. Not now. So we'll see if he can get there. Right now, Walker out front leading this thing. Wire to wire, basically. He started on the pole tonight. Owens did take the lead for a bit, but it's been Walker's night. Jason Ratliff, solid, but can't quite hang with him. He's a second back. Leal starting to pick up the pace. He's looking to run him down. He's in third. Newton, the Bulldog, he's in heavy traffic here. Here comes Paul Travis and Brantley with fresher rubber, so they're going to hinder him a little bit. But Newton about 7 seconds off the lead. Greg Ratliff sitting in fifth. He's about 8 back. Then it's Tony Ratliff and Herb Ashley, your top 7, as Tom Ashley hits pit road from 8th.
Yeah, let's see. Again, I mean, Walker's picked up the pace on Jason Ratliff, and then we have Leo right there about, he's actually a little bit quicker, but Ratliff has really kind of lost some time as, wow, Todd Gilly loose underneath George Leal there, back a little bit further, so.
Yeah, Gilly there pushing that machine, trying to get through. Did a nice job there, just a little bit loose. We'll see if Newton learned anything on his run. He's notoriously really good here at Rockingham, Jared.
Absolutely, and you know, I think he was maybe got caught up. I feel maybe he was going a little bit too fast or something, because he was definitely saving toward the end of that run. He was sounded like he was clutching at the end of his run, trying to make a fuel number. So hopefully he made it, so he can kind of push the pace a little bit more. But right now, he's sitting there about 7 seconds off the lead and running comparable lap times to the leader. So I don't anticipate him being able to pick up that time.
Fastest guy out of the front 6, Leal and Tony Ratliff, who sits in 6th, up 11 spots on the night. How about Tony's run tonight?
Unbelievable, right? I mean, he was the very last car to pit. We know without any question, Tony Ratliff, you know, he is going to make it off fuel, right? So it's going to be interesting to see where he kind of cycles out, because he does have, you know, quite a bit of a tire advantage. Although I'm a little bit surprised it's not more. Like, the lap time just never dropped off. I mean, I remember this track, you know, 5-10 years ago. I'm dating myself on the service, but I mean, it was 2 or 3 second fall off, and I'm just surprised that we didn't get that tonight with a much lower downforce and higher horsepower car than we've had on the service for 15 years. So I'm a little bit, you know, confused by that, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is confusing, Jared, and it's hard to keep up with. You know, a strategy that works today won't work tomorrow, so you got to be flexible out here, and us old timers, not so much, Jared.
Yeah, exactly.
They say adapt and overcome, Jared.
So I'm looking at Greg Ratliff having a nice run. He is actually catching up to Adam Newton, and then right behind him, Dean, about 2 seconds back, Tony Ratliff, the fastest car on track. I mean, 9 seconds back. I don't think he's out of the question, but I think it's going to be difficult for him to win. But I think a podium is on the offering for Tony Ratliff here tonight.
Yeah, I think like 4th place, barring any trouble, is a certainty. Can he catch George Leal and then perhaps our leaders as well? I don't know. I mean, he's looking darn good out here. Tony Ratliff, what a night for him. Owens has made his way to 7th, Jared. Now, he's in 7th, meaning he's in front of all the 2-stoppers. Pistol right behind him, but Owens needs to make up 26 seconds to get to Michael Walker. I mean, he's right behind him right now. He's got to go by him and around the track again.
I do want to note real quick, we did have a cloud kind of move over the track, if you could tell in the broadcast, and the track has cooled off, Dean. It went down about 5 degrees from where we started. We were up in the almost 120, and we're down to 113. So, I mean, that is also going to play a factor in how this last part of this run goes.
It is, and Leal just stepped it up with back-to-back 4s out there, so he's picked up about 1.5 seconds in a couple of laps here to Michael Walker, who's in traffic, and with its traffic is playing a major factor tonight. You see now, Walker way up the track. He's going to come back down. Jason Ratliff, clearer track. He does have Brantley behind him, and there's George Leal all of a sudden running consistent 4s and making up a ton of time. Now 2 1.2 back, Jared.
Yeah, he is really. I mean, look at these lap times, Dean. I mean, if you have that, split time graph, I mean, it is insane. I mean, it has come down so much. I mean, George Leal has eaten this lead down, and I don't know if anybody can respond. I mean, Jason Ratliff is trying to respond, but is it too little, too late? I think it is.
Well, we spread out our graph a little bit there, and you can see. I mean, I don't think that's accurate. We'll come back to it in a bit. But Leal, well, actually, I was on the wrong driver, Jared, so let's go back to it one more time. And there, you can see, about 6-7 laps ago, it just started to come down in big chunks. Now, 1.3 seconds. George Leal, that's George Leal, and he is closing in on Jason Ratliff.
Yeah, that is insane. That gap that has come down here. I mean, he's down to, we're getting into under 2 seconds now, Dean.
Let's go on board with George Leal here as he closes in, not only on Jason Ratliff, but with 3 other cars right in front of them, one of them scrubbing the wall.
Here we go. Jason Ratliff is making a big move for the lead as Michael Walker kind of got caught up with some lap traffic, passing to get back on the lead lap. Paul Travis and Jason Brantley there. Walker, Ratliff's pushed up too. Saves it.
He does save it. Leal gets by. Walker's still behind this traffic. And this is what we said. Traffic playing a major role here this evening. I did not realize Walker was one of those cars in there. It has cost him dearly. Leal out of nowhere now, right here, battling for the lead.
Yeah, this is intense right here as, and Paul Travis and Brantley, they're racing their race, right? Nothing they did wrong. It's just bad timing, right? Whereas Leal, he didn't ever have to mess with these guys because he was so far behind. They were ahead of him when they came out of the pits, so they kind of just flew through the field, and he kind of just followed with them, to be honest with you, Dean.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Nobody doing anything wrong. This is the track. You need some luck here. Leal didn't have it in the first run. He dealt with traffic maybe more than anybody, or that group with him. Jason Ratliff and Adam Newton were dealing with a lot of traffic. Here late, Leal made it caught a little bit of break with the traffic, and now he's right in it. And now you can almost sense that he's back here sizing up Walker, who he knows is very good here, and he's thinking, boy, oh boy, I just got like a 3-second bonus. I could save a little more tire and just wait another 5 or 10 laps.
Yeah, and Jason Ratliff's lap times are staying about where they were, 25.7. So I think that Jason going to have a hard time trying to get back into this battle without some lap traffic help. Yeah, he did a 7. Leal a 6.96, basically a 7. And Walker actually found some pace running a 6. But still, the fastest driver, he was actually the fastest driver on track as far as our lead group of drivers go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Owens flying in 7th. He is now closed into about 11 seconds behind Tony Ratliff for 6th. I don't know, what do we got? About 28 laps remaining here.
Yeah.
So Owens, I'm not sure he'll make it here into our top 5. He might, though. Good solid run if he can hold it together. Out front, Walker, Leal, Jason Ratliff just off the pace. Newton in 4th. And Greg Ratliff right behind him in 5th. Then you get Tony Ratliff, who's right there. He's making a move, actually, on Greg Ratliff. So Tony Ratliff, this could be his problem. He's got Greg Ratliff and Adam Newton to contend with virtually on very similar tires. Great corner there by Tony Ratliff.
And Ross Wee's going to follow him through, right? But he's a lap down. But Tony Ratliff moved him up into the top 5. But Dean, you talk about the 2 stoppers. Owens, Pistol, and Travis are the only 3 on the lead lap right now that are on the 2-stop strategy, Dean. And the lap times are just not showing that they can make a move here, right? I mean, Michael Walker 25.6, Leal a 25.6, Owens is doing 25.3s, Pistol a 25.2. So I mean, you look at those lap times. I mean, there is almost no way that they are going to be able to make up 16 seconds with that little deficit.
Yeah, and that's the standard. I say a two-stopper ain't going to beat a one-stopper. That's just generally the case. What I would say is, for Owens, the way he likes to drive, hard and fast, maybe pistol as well, that they probably are going to fade on the long run. So why not do a two-stopper? I think it's a net gain for both of them.
Yeah, I think they're going to end up right around where they probably would have ended up, but and probably maybe have a little bit more fun doing it, right? But you look at Owens, he did qualify third, running seventh. But Torgerson, up 8. Paul Travis up 4. But Newton and Tony Ratliff up 10 and 12. There are big movers of the night so far, Dean.
Michael Walker II out of Cherryville, North Carolina, out here leading this race. He was your pole sitter tonight, and he's got George Leal stalking him here in second. What a night for Michael Walker. Can he hang on? We've seen this once before, and I hate to bring it up. Well, I don't know if I hate to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up, Jared. Tragedy struck late for Michael Walker, and it was really heartbreaking. Let's hope that doesn't happen tonight. Win or lose, let's get her done fair and right on the track.
Well, the other thing too, Dean, last week it was caution free until 3 laps to go, right? And tonight we had a caution on lap 10, but there's still enough battling. Turn 2 is still treacherous. It's not out of the question to get a late race caution here and really flip this race upside down too.
Yeah, it's never out of the question. We always say anything can and will happen here at RGR. So stay tuned, folks. Not over by a long shot. I don't know if Michael Walker's out running Leal or Leal's pacing him, waiting to make his move. I think all cards are on the table by now, Jared.
Yeah, I think that Leal is kind of sizing up what Walker is doing, watching the lines. There's no real reason to press the issue, right? If you can save a little bit, try to get a little bit of a tire advantage, right? And it might not be, you might not need a lot, but you're going to need something to be able to pass him because Walker's got the preferred line, and that's the high side. He can always just really throttle off turn 2 and really pinch you down. So it's always going to be hard for anybody to pass him on the bottom.
All right, laps winding down, 20 to go for Walker. Can he do it? Leal stalking, Ratliff, Newton, and how about Tony Ratliff? He has caught up to Adam Newton, so can he get up here and at least take 4th?
And lap time that time around, 25.8 to a 25.7, so Tony Ratliff a 10th quicker, and again this time around a little bit less than a 10th, but still quite a bit faster for Tony Ratliff. So Adam Newton going to have his hands full for sure here in the next couple laps. But I'll tell you what, we got some lap traffic fighting their way through. That's who is that coming through here? Is that
well, George Leal right behind
Ashley. Herb Ashley.
Oh, the Whataburger machine. Yeah, Herb Ashley back there with Brantley as well, I believe.
That was for position, so Herb Ashley passing Brantley on those fresher tires, about 12 lap fresher tires than Brantley, so he is going to make his sights set and try to get one of those laps back and try to catch up to the tow band, who is just ahead of this battle for the lead.
Another battle out on the track, Jared. West Pistol has gotten by Chris Owens here. That's for 7th, and that's the battle of the two stoppers. These guys are battling tooth and nail right now. Pistol a little bit better here on the long run. He takes 7th.
Yeah, but then you look at the lap times, and Owens just put down a better lap by 2/10. So, I think that battle is still raging on there, Dean. That's the battle, like you said, for 7th position back there. They're coming to the line now, but I think Pistol's going to win that battle for now.
All right, they're battling. Our leader under heat still from Leal, and you can see Walker starting to push that machine a little bit. Leal has been perhaps, being here waiting a little bit. The time is now. He winds that machine up. Walker off the corner, though, and Walker opens up the high side. Oh, no, Leal's going to get up there on him. If Leal gets there, it's over. There goes George Leal to the lead.
Yeah, that's it. That's over. That battle's over. Walker's going to try to fight back, but running on the low side and 1 and 2 is going to be difficult for Walker.
Very impressive by Walker to hold in there and try his best, but it's inevitable. It's going to be Leal on that high side. Walker's going to have to get up there and wind it up and see if he can come back on George Leal. It's like I always say, Jared, you want a victory, you got to earn it. It's time to earn it now. Michael Walker back in second, George Leal out front.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe he thought that Leal was going to be there when he came off the corner. And this track, the closing rate can be really high, but you gotta make Leal earn these things.
Well, it almost looked like he protected the bottom, Jared, and it was just a catastrophic mistake. But it could be that the machine was getting loose or something, and it was forced down there. Hard to tell. It's a tough track.
Absolutely, and now Leal setting sail. Good lap times there.
Yeah, George.
Jason Ratliff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please, Jared.
Jason Ratliff, the lap times have just dropped off the shelf to the point that I do wonder if Adam Newton and Tony Ratliff can actually catch him. I mean, he is almost a second slower than our race leaders.
Could that be fuel mileage concerns, Jared?
It's possible. Like I said, I don't know the fuel mileage. Maybe he got, tangled up with some lap cars. The lap time much better this time around. That makes me, think that maybe he just caught some traffic. We just didn't see it. But he is definitely not out of the danger zone of being caught, as looks like Todd Gilly making a late race pit stop.
Yeah, Gilly in, but it's Tony Ratliff loose as he's trying to make a move on Adam Newton. They were fighting side by side, and they'll remain there, but Tony a little loose off the corner cost him perhaps a spot. So those two continue to battle this battle here for fourth position. Tony gets back in line.
Yeah, Tony, that car really hooked up on the bottom right there, but the problem is, again, it's so tight off turn 2 that running the bottom is almost a non-starter trying to make a pass.
It is, but he's going to keep trying, and I love it. Going to put that 2 under heat.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all right there.
That's very, very good. And a little bit loose from the 2, and that's what you want. You want to force a mistake out of him. Let's check in up front. Leal walking away. So Leal opening up about a 10-car length lead over Michael Walker, who's in second. Jason Ratliff third. Back to this battle. Newton and Tony Ratliff battling tooth and nail for fourth.
Tony doing a great job, but the problem is it just tightens up too much off the corner, and then there's just a little bit not a lot of room there, right? And that makes it really hard to kind of keep your momentum on the bottom.
Well, and Newton knows it. I mean, he's playing this to perfection. He knows Tony's got a faster car, but it's 7 to go. We don't let people go with 7 to go. You race. And here we go. And Greg Ratliff on pit road. Wow, Greg Ratliff, 8th place, vacates. Not enough fuel in that machine. That is tragedy right there.
And Tony Ratliff, great run off turn 2. Newton up into the wall in 3 and 4. Tony Ratliff might actually make a pass from the bottom. Here he's clear. Yes, he is clear. Yes, he is clear. Wow, what a job by the 6 machine.
Wow, I hope you're not my spreader. That was sounding a little sketchy, Jared. Clear-ish?
Yeah, clear yourself is what I would say to the guy I'm spotting.
Tony Ratliff, great move. Great driving on the bottom, Jared. One of the few people we've seen who were able to do it. He worked for it. He earned it. 4th place goes to him. He is now 3 seconds off the pace to Jason Ratliff. We're on 5 to go. It's George Leal out there in front of Michael Walker, and he's running about a half a tenth faster than Walker, so Walker got to find something here late.
Well, the other thing too, Dean, don't look now, but our 2 stoppers are starting to make some inroads to Newton and Tony Ratliff. There's West Pistol as Tom Ashley heading to pit, or I thought he was heading to pit road. He's just getting out of the way of this battle. So West Pistol clear sailing to the back of the 2 machine and the 6 machine, Dean. So he might be able to pick off a couple positions late.
How about that? Pistol and perhaps even Owens, but Pistol. Excuse me, as I get choked up over the situation. He's coming through.
He's there.
And I
He
mean,
is there on
this is going to be an easy pass here for Pistol. What a move by him, doing a two-stopper here and working his way up into the top 5.
Great move, great run through the middle of that corner. He's going to get a little tight off the corner, but he's going to have the edge. And Newton's still there, but I think it's all for naught, right? And you're seeing right here in the middle of this corner. Yep, Pistol's going to take it. So Pistol on the two-stopper, 30-lap newer tires, hard to hold off if you're Newton.
Yeah, great job by Pistol working that strategy for all it's worth. He will likely end up in 5th. But our leader, George Leal, down in 3 and 4. He's going to come through and get the white flag here at Rockingham. Fleming with a late, oh no, it wasn't a pit stop, it was a little bit of Lutz. Here we go, Leal with one more corner. The 51 was so patient trying to get to Walker, took his time with it, took the lead late. He's going to come through 4. He'll be your winner here at Rockingham.
Jason Ratliff out of fuel in the back straightaway, so Tony Ratliff going to sneak a podium again this week, Dean, and Jason Ratliff heartbreak at the end as Tony Ratliff is out of fuel.
And Pistol coming through. Pistol comes through and grabs 3rd. How about that? As we got guys who didn't get enough fuel in the tank. Newton finishes 4th. Tony Ratliff falls to 5th. Owens almost coming through. He'll finish 6th. Jason Ratliff, 7th place, out of fuel.
I just cannot believe that Tony Ratliff ran out of fuel. He was the last guy on pit road. I guess he just maybe used an auto fuel. You know, I've been bit by that before in the past, and man, that's a heartbreak because he was heading. I mean, he was staring down a podium for the 2nd straight week, and Wes Pistol on the two-stopper makes it work. Dean at the end, unbelievable.
What a race! We said anything can and will happen. Well, Leal took the win late. Pistol takes a podium late. A little bit of everything here tonight. I loved it, Jared. These Gen 4 cars are putting on some shows for us.
Man, I mean that was crazy. I mean, it didn't look like that there was going to be any fuel concerns out of our top 4 or 5 guys, and there was.
Yeah, there definitely was. George Leal parked there at the start-finish line right now. What a night for him. Right now, let's take a short commercial break. We'll come back. We'll get some words with Leals and the other. Rockingham. What a show here tonight, Jared. I mean, this track, I got to tell you, it's not one of my favorites. Broadcasting wise, it may be one of my favorites, but racing it is treacherous.
Yeah, I mean, it is a track that you have to be on top of. I mean, they scanned this track in 2009, right? And so the track hadn't even been used for a few years in real life. So it's really bumpy. It was really rough. This track was already challenging without the bumps, and I think the bumps make it really hard. And I think you saw that tonight, right? There was a lot of strategy, a lot of guys trying to conserve, and it ended up being a fuel mileage race based on tire wear. And I think tonight you really saw that come to the forefront.
We did. Now, we talked a lot about some of these finishes. You had Leal, Walker, Pistol, Newton, Tony Ratliff. Chris Owens comes up to 6th. Jason Ratliff falls to 7th. Travis with an 8th-place finish tonight. Weiss in 9th. Torgerson 10th. And it's Ashley Powers, Spear, Herb Ashley, Brantley, Fleming, the Toad Man. Greg Ratliff down in 18th, Jared, with that late stop.
Yeah, and you kind of look at that, and that's a tough break. And all three rat lifts, fuel problems there for all three of them tonight. That's always tough. And you kind of look at the points, going forward. I think Tony Ratliff is going to be our point leader. Coming out of this race, I don't know that officially, but just kind of looking at the points and looking at how things are going to stack up, I do believe he's going to be our point leader. But man, uh, what a heartbreak at the end there.
Well, and heartbreak early. TJ Rogers was the
Yeah.
winner last week. He's out near the bottom of the board, so he falls all the way to 6 in our unofficial standings. Tight battle here. It's going to be a lot of fun going forward, Jared. I love it when everybody stays together and we get ourselves a 10-bay championship battle.
Absolutely, Dean.
All right, let's go ahead and talk to someone I can't wait to talk to. That's Wes Pistol. Somehow, some way on a two-stopper coming through and finishing third. Congratulations, Wesley.
I appreciate it. That was a that was a roller coaster.
It wasn't ever. I mean, so let's talk a little bit about your strategy, the way you were running. I mean, you and Owens kind of pitted against each other a little bit here tonight on the same kind of strategy. Looked like you had a little more patience with the car. Talk a little bit about that, your long run strategy, and perhaps we can start to talk about your two stop strategy as well.
Yeah, I feel like I've got long run pace pretty nailed down, at least in this league. There's a bunch of fast guys in here that also have long run pace, but I feel like I'm one of the better ones in here. I really wasn't planning on. I should have hit that first caution, is what I should have done, but I didn't realize we didn't have tire limits turned on. So when I stayed out, it kind of messed up my strategy. But then once I was in it, my bed was made, and um, a handful of us had to stick to that strategy. So yeah, that second time when Chris peeled off, and I think Ross called over the radio, he was pitting. I was like, all right, these are the guys I'm racing. I've got to come in with them. So I just try to keep pace with Chris, and then I was able to run long run a little bit better than him.
Yeah, and I mean, when we talk about that two stopper, those fresh tires, they showed themselves, and they generally showed themselves when other guys were around traffic, right? Of course, traffic's going to hinder times, and it's going to, bring you a little bit closer or whatever. But I think that their tires were so old, it was having a large effect on them, Wesley.
Yeah, you're right. I think a lot of times you can have one or two lap older tires, but just defend really well, run the high line, and you can do it. But I had what 20 or 30 lap better tires, so I was able to make better moves than more even tires would have been able to make. So just ran out of laps there. I was catching the front guys, but just kind of ran out of laps with the really fast guys. Then guys like Michael and George, they're incredible at saving tires, regardless. So they did a good job of maintaining their pace and keeping us back.
Yeah, absolutely they did. I mean, you were running them down. I love what we've seen out of you here tonight. How are you feeling about this car? I mean, I get the feeling you really love this car, Wes.
Yeah, these cars are similar to the 87s, where you got hardly any downforce and a ton of power. And I guess that's what I got used to when I first started in the old NR 2003 game, high horsepower, low downforce. So this kind of fits my style, where you've really got to take care of your tires. You can be super fast if you're aggressive at first, but it really hurts you later on in the run. And I feel like that's the kind of style that suits me. I'm not a hot lapper, but I can take care of my stuff better than a lot of guys can.
And with one more question here, Wesley, do you want to tell Jared about the dominance of Tennessee or anything like that?
Well, I can't. We haven't dominated in a while. In the '90s we did, but here lately it's been hit or miss. But new season coming soon.
All right, Wesley. Just giving a hard time there. Congrats on a thrilling third place finish, man. We'll turn the mic over to you. You got anybody you want to shout out or thank? Please do.
Yeah, thanks to the guys that are putting this on, Kylou Glass, East Coast Web Printers, Alive Church, Wind Tunnel. Man, I watched your broadcast last week after our first race, and it's incredible. It's a really good job, really well done. So entertaining and educational, all that stuff. So I watch it to learn anything I can, racing against these guys. I think my wife, my dad, I think my uncle Jimmy's watching, maybe my cousin Daniel. Say hello to them. I think it's about it for now. Go Vols.
Go Vols. There you go, Jared. Say it with me. Go Vols.
I'm good.
All right, that was third place, West Pistol. Great race by him.
Absolutely, Dean. And I'm sitting down here with our second place man, Michael Walker, who led the most laps tonight, but comes up one position short. Michael, what a race for you tonight.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Ton of fun sliding around on the rock here tonight.
And that was, I think that's an understatement. I mean, you were, the fan favorite coming into the race. We had several out in the chat rooting you on and feeling like that you were having the shot, and you really put on a show throughout the most of that race. But let's talk about the end there. You know, Leo was about 4 seconds behind you, caught up to you. He was sitting there kind of running behind you, and then late in that run, you kind of let him have the high side, and we were kind of perplexed by that.
Yeah, Jared, my mistake tonight was we come off pit road, kind of got to running too hard there, just trying to keep that lead spot in front of Jason. And I saw George, 3, 4 seconds back, but I knew he was doing what he needed to do to save his tires, and I'd have to pay the penalty toward the end, and I did paid it, and didn't have enough tire there to race him at the end.
Well, you put on a good show, but the other thing I wanted to ask is the fuel strategy. We saw some guys, I think two guys run out on the last lap, and maybe more, and a couple of drivers had to pit late for fuel. I mean, how much of a concern, looking at the amount of laps we had to run versus how many laps you could do on a fuel tank, how much of a concern was it tonight for fuel strategy?
Well, running the practice sessions, I knew I could stretch it to about 85 laps or so, which if I knew if we had an early yellow, that was going to make it a one stop to the end. So I think I could have ran it to about lap 95 or 8 or somewhere in there, which was more than enough to uh, get me to the end from there.
Well, Michael, I mean, what a job. How are you enjoying this Gen 4 car? I mean, it harkens back to a bygone era at this point, but it seems like you've adapted to it pretty well.
Yeah, I enjoy the high horsepower, heavy tire fall off, and bumpy track like this. Uh, yeah, definitely. This track, Old Atlanta, Fairgrounds, all those type tracks are right up in my wheelhouse. So it's a ton of fun for me.
Well, Michael, congratulations on a runner-up tonight. I know you probably wanted a little bit more, but a strong showing for that number 22 machine. I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you have the last word on your event here tonight.
Yeah, guys. Well, we're thrilled to have you guys on board for Tuesday night now, and certainly thankful for East Coast Web Printers, Kylou Glass, a live church as well, and want to give a shout out to my buddy Eric White, and he keeps on knocking it out of the park for me with these paint schemes. So appreciate him and everything he's done painting these cars for me.
All right, Dean, that was our runner-up here tonight, Michael Walker the second.
Yeah, well, what a night for him. Spoiled a little bit by our winner, the 51, George Leal. A great run. What a victory. Congratulations, George.
Thanks, man. I was telling Michael, I think that's one of the hardest races I've driven since I've been back on iRacing.
Well, what I love about it, a couple things I love about it, George, but I'm a firm believer in you got to earn it. You made Michael work. He wasn't able to earn it here tonight. I mean, he did everything he could. But you were doing something back there on that last run, fading, almost like you were picking a time, like a 25-5 type of time you wanted to be running. And it looked just about when I said he's got to start picking up the pace. You picked up the pace, and simultaneous, Walker got trapped in traffic. You must have picked up 3 seconds in a couple of laps. I mean, what a benefit to your strategy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I come out, I don't know, a second behind him, second and a half behind those two guys, and I just saw them slowly drift away, and I knew I was trying to just run my pace, and they were going and going and going, and they got almost to 5 seconds, and I'm like, either I'm saving way too much, or they're going way too hard, or maybe I just don't have anything for them. And then they just started coming back to me, and then was able to get around Jason there. He looked like he got a little loose coming out of 2, and I just sat there behind Michael for a while and made sure I was good on fuel and went for it.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Is that the case? Did he get a little loose and get stuck on the bottom, or was he trying to protect the bottom and made a mistake there, George?
I'm not 100% positive. I don't think it was really smart to protect the bottom tonight because you just could not get on the throttle. It was pretty tough on the bottom with even tires. So I would say he got loose.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, George. But I mean, a masterful job by you by playing this thing. We watched you win in a number of different ways, and these cars being a little different than what at least us up in the booth are used to. How are you liking it? How's it riding for you?
Yeah, I like the car. I like that we have the tracks hot and slick, and I think everybody or a lot of people are complaining about the force feedback deal, and it's like a constant. It's more like when you come into practice, you're tweaking your force feedback settings more than you're tweaking the setup or the steering settings that we have available to us in the fixed setup. So you just come in. I had my force feedback. You got to crank it way up and then kind of dial it back to where you have decent feeling in the car. But overall, I like them. It'd be sweet if they got it to where we didn't have to change the force feedback settings every time. But I like it.
Yeah, well, I'll give you guys a little tip on the force feedback. I don't know if it works in these cars, but in general, when you don't have a force back feeling, in iRacing, turn up that min setting in the force feedback settings. That tends to help that situation. Don't know if it holds true for that, but a little tip for you there, George. I feel like I'm helping now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I know some guys do that on the super speedways, and people are willing to share that information. But I didn't think to try that on the Gen 4 cars. Maybe give it a try.
Absolutely. Doesn't look like you need a whole lot of help. Pick up the victory, man. It was a thrilling one for us up here in the booth. Congratulations. Another win. We'll turn the mic over to you. You want to shout out or thank people, please do.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here doing these broadcasts for us 3 days a week now, and that's thanks to Kylou Glass. I forgot to shout him out the other night, but shout out to Kylou Glass for getting us on TV on Tuesday nights. We've seen a huge car count tonight. Gives us all a little bit more incentive to come and run this Gen 4 car. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Live Church and East Coast Web Printers, everyone that puts time in this league to keep it such a good league. Michael Walker, Jason Ratliff, Adam Newton, all ran a hell of a race, and we all raced each other clean, so appreciate that. And a little shout out to old Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Hey, all aboard the crazy train. George Leal, your winner tonight, Jared.
Yeah, what a race by George, and he was methodical, and he's not going to overdrive the track. It's just he's going to run his pace, and you saw at the end there that paid off for him. And what an entertaining race! 2 races we've had, and next week, Dean, we head into Las Vegas, another track that typically puts on some decent racing.
Yeah. Oh, I think in these cars, I think it's going to be something else. You're going to see some high line, some low line, and a lot of power out there. Can't wait to get to that one. It's been great so far. I hope you tune in to all our broadcasts. We've got Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night now. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, and for our t-shirts that I'm wearing right now that were sent to us, much appreciated. That's going to wrap it up from Rockingham, and we'll see you